homosex is a sin. I'm not with these guys. Yeah, for sure. Jesus is not with these guys. Jesus, funnily enough, stood with the sinners. So if you think that homosexuality is a sin, well, Jesus stood with those people. He didn't stand with the people condemning them or telling them they're going to hell. No, he stood with the sinners. This video brought to you by my YouTube members and patrons. Thank you guys. Hello, fellow adults, legally of age adults of working age who pay taxes and contribute to society like adults. Did you know that YouTube has now started declaring that some adults are children and limiting the content that they can access? And that includes some of my content as well. So you may not be seeing all of my content. If, for example, you are a fully grown adult who likes watching Minecraft or cartoons, YouTube may well decide you're a child. Don't worry, if you watch more videos like this, that will help put the algorithm straight. But yes, YouTube has absolutely put forward that AI idea now, and it is limiting the content that people can see, and it is deciding that fully grown adults are underage. Good job, YouTube. Really helping everyone on the platform, aren't you? Very quickly, before we get into the video, I just wanted to mention that YouTube members and patrons, you guys get an extra video every single week for as low as £1 a month. That equates to about 25p per video. So if that is something that interests you, please do consider supporting me over there, as it really helps support the channel. Other than that, let's get into the subreddit, shall we? White woman puts Mexican flag on her truck to waste ICE's time. I am as white as a hotel towel, and the closest thing to Mexican I am was a single all-inclusive resort stay in Cancun. I put a Mexican flag sticker on my old Tacoma ABD and was promptly pulled over by ICE in San Antonio. I'm happy to waste their time. This is the way. Their big question was like, why the sticker? I told them it was on the truck when I bought it, and they suggested I remove it. Obnoxious creatures. Now, ICE, why would they need to remove such a sticker from their car? Unless you were pulling over anyone you profile to be possibly Mexican, whether they be in the country legally or not. Why would they need to remove that sticker? Are you suggesting that you are pulling over legal American citizens of any variety purely based on how you profile their nationality to be? That's a bit strange, isn't it? That you would suggest someone take a sticker off of their car because of how you profiled them based on that sticker. I suggest everybody put these stickers on their cars. No matter what your nationality is, put a Mexican sticker on your car, put a Hispanic flag of some variety on your car. Anywhere from South America, anywhere that isn't white, put their sticker on your car. Waste ICE's time, because fuck ICE. So we got a truck with a Confederate flag on the back, and you know what? Absolutely support this. Rip that flag off that truck. Takes a lot of guts to run out onto moving traffic and do that as well. Like, it's impressive. It's impressive, and I respect the guy that did it. The reporter who asked Putin if he would stop killing civilians in Ukraine has been identified. This is ABC News reporter Rachel Scott, and I hope she doesn't stop. I hope that reporters like this keep asking the hard questions and keep outlining people like this. Keep going to Putin and making him aware that the world knows what he's doing. Keep pressing him on those matters. And don't stop with Putin. Do it with everybody. Netanyahu, Donald Trump, anybody that's doing this kind of thing. Press them all. I guess that's why they're called the press. Armed minorities are harder to oppress. This is real. You guys know my stance on guns, right? I'm a liberal Brit, so obviously my stance on guns is that gun ownership shouldn't be a thing, especially to the extent that it is in America. However, minorities owning guns, especially right now in America, is important. At the end of the day, minorities owning guns is going to be one of the fastest ways of having gun control pushed. So that in and of itself is a good thing. But really, it helps prevent, you know, not the government, but other people from oppressing minorities. Because in a country where anyone can own guns, if your stance on being anti-gun means that only half of the people own guns, the balance tips a little. Now, obviously, I think that no one should have guns, especially AR-15s, rifles, you know, a hunting rifle. Okay, maybe that's a bit different, you know? A farmer owning a shotgun, this is a little bit different, but like a rifle with a bump stock that basically turns it into an automatic rifle, no one needs to own that, you know? However, until such laws are passed that removes guns from everybody, minorities should own guns. Until guns are removed from everybody, you should have guns. And that's my unfortunate stance on the matter. I live in a country where no one owns guns, guns, and so I don't need to own a gun. And that makes a much safer and less anxiety-inducing life. It's amazing that other people don't want to live that kind of life. I don't live in fear that if I go outside my house, I'm gonna get shot. I don't even live in fear that if I go outside my house, I'm gonna get stabbed, because we have knife regulations here, and knife crime's lower than in the US. So Texas Republicans have now set up a tip line to rat out Texas Democrats. So please, for the sake of the public, do not flood this number with tips on Bigfoot sightings, UFO sightings, or asking why Trump is on the list. 1-866-786-5972. Thank you. We've had something like this in a previous video. I believe it was a trans rat line. And once again, I have to say in this video, do not go to the phone number 1-866-786-5972 and spam them with useless information. Please don't go over to the number 1-866-786-5972 and flood their messages and calls with useless information that won't help them. Don't do that, please. Much like with the previous one when I said you shouldn't do that. Don't do that with this one. To clarify, the number that you shouldn't be flooding is 1-866-786-5972. Thank you for your attention on the matter. Italian dock workers threaten to shut down all of Europe if Gaza aid flotilla is blocked. Israel's move. Hell yeah, and I support them. Go do that. Do it anyway. When there are workers that have this kind of power, use it. Do it. Make these threats and follow through with them. You know, you can make a bigger threat than this, not just if Gaza aid is being blocked, but until Israel backs down. Make this a world problem where countries supporting Israel are suddenly met with the reality that supporting a country like that in genocide isn't something that the people of their countries wants. Force them to acknowledge that fact by shutting down the country. But now it's time for a cat break. These kinds of subjects can be pretty taxing on your mental health. They're pretty heavy and pretty hard to keep up with, and that can definitely show in the viewer retention. So let's take a minute to just watch my cats being goofy little guys. They like really intensely grooming each other, and sometimes it's just quite funny to watch. So enjoy. Now back to the video. Now this one's incredible because this is some, protesters who formed up like a Roman style shield wall, We're bringing out medieval and pre-medieval warfare tactics with the shield walls, and I'm all for it. Push back against these people. Push back against these people that want to infringe upon your rights. Okay? They're tyrants. These people are tyrants, and we shouldn't allow them to be continuing doing what they're doing. Push back against that full force. Bill Clinton's on that list too. Yeah, release the list. Yeah, they say this like this is something that I care about. I don't give a shit who's on the list. Release it. My own grandparents could be on that list, and I wouldn't care any more than I care now, okay? Yeah, it would suck to see my grandparents on that list. Yeah, I think that if they were on that list, they should be in jail. Release that fucking list. I don't give a shit. You might think like, but you're British, so it's not like the politicians have any real impact on your country. But let's be real. There are global politicians on that list. There are members of the fucking royal family that are on that list, okay? I still don't give a shit. I would see them all in jail. All of them. If they're on that list, fuck them. Jail. Under the jail. Throw away the key, melt the key down. So this is a tweet from Tom Morello, and you know that Tom Morello doesn't hold back. I'd like to thank all the Second Amendment loving patrons who are caravanning towards Chicago right now to defend the people against a tyrannical federal government that has declared war on a US city. Thank you for putting aside the racism and white supremacy that has kept you from stepping up until now. Big government thugs want to tread on the people. Now it's your time to stop them, like you talk about. Yeah, but the problem is, Tom, that they don't get it. They don't make those connections, okay? The people that fly Don't Step on Me flags also flew Thin Blue Line flags and usually continue to fly Thin Blue Line flags. They fly the Thin Blue Line Punisher flags. Like, they don't get it. They don't get that this is exactly the kind of tyranny they talk about using their guns to prevent, because it's against minorities. And in their minds, if it's oppressing minorities, it's not oppressing them. It doesn't matter that they'll be next. At the moment, it's just minorities, and that's all that matters to them, because freedom only matters when it's their freedom. Someone chained the fence so that the riot police can't get out, and I just think that's hilarious. Delaying their response so that they can't get out and, harass and attack protesters. That's hilarious. That's truly hilarious. And I think more things like that should be done. That's just really funny. The fact that they didn't even have bolt cutters to get out of their own building. That's so funny. If only there were a Pulitzer for closed captioning. Single person clapping. That's the response to every JD Vance talk ever, to be honest. He's like the least charismatic dude in the world. It reminds me of pretty early on those videos where he would go into fast food chains and food places and would start trying to talk to the people. And he was just so uncharismatic. It was bad. It was embarrassing. It just made me cringe. I was just like, these people just want to be left alone and they're being harassed by some guy right now. And he's like, yeah, I'm the vice president. It's just so cringe.
I'm Julie here, so I'm running for vice president. Let's see.
Okay.
Nepal revolution. Protesters set fire to the parliament building. Most of the government has resigned or fled the country. The prime minister has now resigned after being beaten by a crowd of people. Many of his cabinet have either done the same or fled. The revolution is over. So, I don't condone violence. I do not promote violence. I do not think that violence is a good move, ultimately, in most situations. However, when you have a corrupt government that is trying to force things on its people and is forcing that corruption through undemocratic means, it is good that the people are able to push back against that government. The government is there to serve the people, not the other way around. Bear in mind, I don't think people should rise up against a democratically elected leader because they don't agree with him being democratically elected, right? You can protest in a peaceful manner because you don't agree with the stances someone has, but if they were democratically elected, you don't really get to do anything about that fact. And that goes for people that I like and people I don't like. However, if said democratically elected leader starts infringing upon people's rights, attacking people, harassing people, might be on a list of the world's most prolific pedophiles, is sending out unmarked forces to kidnap people, is deporting people to countries they don't come from, then maybe I would support a pushback from the people. Yeah? And I feel like a similar thing happened in Nepal, okay? The government very corrupt, people not agreeing with it. The people have taken back their country. And that's impressive. That is an impressive thing. And you know what's going to happen? Change. Things will improve. They'll put in leaders with regulations that prevent the things from happening that happen. And that'll be a good thing for the country. In the West, we seem to be a little bit too scared to step up for the things that matter and that we really care about. And it's time for that to change, I feel. So this is a video of some masked men showing no badges, showing no identification, trying to disappear protesters into an unmarked van. I believe that if you are trying to arrest someone, you should need to have a badge on display. You should need to have identification on display that any bystander is able to see. In this case, these men pinning people to the floor and trying to put them into an unmarked van, showing no identification and covering their faces, should be subject to self-defense. If you cannot show identification while trying to arrest someone and a bystander tries to stop you, that bystander should be well in their right to stop you from handcuffing and stuffing other civilians into an unmarked van. You're the police and you have a right to arrest people? Okay, if you have identification and you have probable cause, yeah. If you're trying to disappear protesters because they're speaking out against your dictator, nah, nope. No. And if you don't show any verification, you don't show anything that confirms who you are, and bystanders stop you from doing your job, That's how it is. That's how it is. They're literally threatening people right now. He stood there with a weapon, threatening people, going, no, you can't interfere with this, despite the fact that this is an unmarked van and we have no identification. I'm threatening you with a weapon so you don't interfere. This is kidnapping. As that person just said, this is just kidnapping. If you cannot identify yourself as a federal officer with ID, if you cannot prove who you are and you cannot state the probable cause you have of the person you are arresting, that's kidnapping. Doesn't matter who you work for, doesn't matter what organization you're a part of, that's kidnapping. Putting them in an unmarked van, also kidnapping. This whole thing, kidnapping. People have a right to defend themselves. If you get harmed because you're kidnapping someone, that's on you. They have a right to defend themselves. If you show that you were a police officer and they resist arrest, that's a little different. If they're resisting arrest despite the fact that you have identified yourself and given probable cause, then yes, they should submit and they should go to court. They should go to court. Important statement here. They should go to court because obviously ICE are not sending people to court. They're disappearing them and deporting them, right? It's kidnapping. It's just fucking kidnapping. And people should stand up against that. You should defend yourself against someone like this. If someone is going to try and kidnap you, you should defend yourself. And the final post. Protesters repaint Pulse Memorial rainbow crosswork after the fuckers in Florida removed it. Hell yes, I stand behind this. Florida was like, no rainbows here. And the people are like, actually, fuck you, we want the rainbow. Hell yes. And I love the variety in the crowd here, you know, because it's really easy to say like, it's boomers that are a problem. But you got a boomer here that's helping, that's supporting this, that's taking photos. That's great. This is the right kind of move. This is the kind of thing that shows you support people. Erasing that flag, what does that show? That you don't support your own people. That's all that shows. The flag wasn't harming anyone. In fact, I've talked about it before, but rainbow flags are easier to see. They are better for drivers and they actually protect the people walking on streets from not getting hit by cars because they're more visible. So this is the right move from like every standpoint. And I absolutely respect and support anybody who would be recoloring this rainbow. Hell yeah. And that is where I'm going to end the video, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed. If you've made it this far, I have a community tab on my channel that people can post in now. That's a relatively new feature on YouTube, and I would love to see the kind of posts that you guys put there. Put in some of your own chaotic good posts, for example. Put in support, put in your pro-LGBT stuff, put in your anti-dictator stuff. I want to see what you guys have got, or just pet photos. That works too. Other than that though, if you would like to support the channel, then I have a Patreon in the description down below, or equally you can click on that join button on the channel to support me. It helps a lot more than you might realize, but by no means should you feel like you have to. I'm going to keep making content regardless. But a huge, massive special thank you to all of the wonderful YouTube members and patrons that do support me. All of your names are up on screen right now, and it genuinely helps so much, and it genuinely means so much that you guys would want to support me. And if you do support me, you get an extra video every single week. So thank you to everybody that does, and yeah, I hope you enjoy the extra content. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Peace out.